back to the Fertility Diaries. I'm Charly.
And I'm Portia, and each week we navigate fertility, ambition, identity, and everything in between.
We're not here as experts, we're just here as two besties, living it, learning all about it, and here for the general chit chat, really.
We are
So,
indeed.
Portia, should we start with your week? How's your week been?
It's been okay. I did a TikTok on this. I'm technically in my 2-week wait on this new protocol. Do I feel like I'm in my 2-week wait? No. Have I forgotten what trying to conceive is like? Yes. Which people are probably like, "Are you joking? Why?" But I think where we've not been actively trying for a while and where we've been in kind of in and out of fertility treatments, and in between those fertility treatments, not really, we're on a different protocol now, aren't we? So we've not really been taking it seriously. This is the first time where I'm thinking, right, I actually need to be taking medications. I'm obviously taking prednisolone, the steroid, I'm taking aspirin, and I'm taking progesterone pessaries.
Fun.
And I was thinking to myself, the last time I was in a 2-week wait was after my IVF transfer in February time. And I was there with thick socks, drinking beetroot juice every day. I was going to acupuncture. I was like barely leaving the house, keeping myself warm at all times, like resting. And I can't get myself. I said in my TikTok, I feel like I've got imposter syndrome. That's the only way I can describe it. I don't feel like I am trying to conceive. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's because you've been going through like everything else before this has all been IVF, all that kind of focus. Really, when was the last time that you kind of, tried
And we're so
naturally?
used to it not working when we try naturally.
Yeah.
That's, I think, is a big part of it. But this protocol, there's a reason we're doing it. It's research backed. What I will say is I have had a sore throat and I'm a little bit sniffy today.
And this is a
And
big
we all
thing for
know
you.
all I ever want is to feel unwell in a 2-week wait. Is this the
Mm.
time I'm going to feel unwell in a 2-week wait? I am on the steroids. I'm taking 10 milligrams a day. They should be suppressing my immune system. I'm like, just give me a hint of a cold. Just a little one. But
This
I'm
is your
not feeling
hint.
great. I'm feeling a bit like, ugh. But we're day 7 days past ovulation. So technically I can start taking, and so I'm going to do the pregnancy tests
Oh my
from tomorrow,
goodness.
like the girl in our dilemma, from day 8, because that would be, some people get positive tests. That would be 3 days past if you did an embryo transfer, and some people do get like a faint line. Am I expecting to see anything? No. Do I think this is going to work, especially in the first round? No. Did we try properly this month because I went off to Devon? No. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of in the 2-week wait. I'd say 2-week wait trenches, but it's a 2-week wait imposter syndrome. It's very strange. I feel like maybe I'll be in a better position to take it more seriously next month. I need to go back to acupuncture, actually. I keep thinking it and then not doing it. So I need to book an appointment. That might be something I do today, actually.
You've also been pretty busy, haven't you? So do you think that's like taking your mind off the 2-week wait as well? Or do you think
I think so, yeah. I have been really busy.
Yeah.
And it is just a bit weird, though. I can't describe it. I've been really, and I'm not being conscious with my food. Like last time I was so over the top about things. But again, I suppose that's different because there is an embryo inside you. Like I was saying to Steve the other day, it got to, would it have been Sunday? So like day 5. And I was like, today would have been our embryo transfer day. And he's literally not really on board with what's going on. And he's like, what? I was like, today the embryo would have been put in. I was like, but isn't it weird? You wouldn't even know if it's got to that. Like those days it grows in a lab, it's growing in your stomach. Like, are the drop-off rates the same? It's so bizarre, isn't it, to think of it like that? But I'm trying to think like it could work because I do think there's a part of me that's like, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Why would it? But then I think to myself, well, it should do because Dr. Beard.
Yeah, it should.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. I tell you what is weird though. So all I'm showing at the minute on my TikTok is pure fertility content, nothing else. I've had sugar daddies sliding into my DMs, being like, "Hi, do you want to be my sugar baby? I'll give you $7,000 a week." They never want nudes, which I find quite offensive. Like, why don't you want my nudes? But it's you think, what? I don't understand what these accounts are. They're obviously like spammy scam accounts, but if they're offering me money, how are they going to scam me? I don't really understand it. Anyway, I thought to myself, I'm going to reply. So I replied and said, do you know what? That $7,000 a week will be fabulous because I'm in the middle of IVF and, you know, I need to, you can fund a few more rounds for me. Then I chickened out, didn't I? So I blocked
Oh,
him. And I was literally, I just blocked him, was like, I'm reported actually. The next
okay.
minute, his name flashes up again. This is like Daddy Donald or something.
Daddy Donald.
It was
Sugar
said,
Daddy Donald.
hey baby, it's me, Daddy. Have you ever seen the Kardashians? Like, Auntie Chris, it's me. It's Todd Cranes. Hey baby,
Oh my
it's
God.
me. It's Daddy.
Daddy
From like a
Donald.
different account with the same name, saying, "I saw you replied to my message, and now I can't see it." And I was literally like, "How are you finding me off a different account? What do they do? Has anyone ever, had an experience with these sugar daddies? Like, is he
I
going
mean,
to pay for my IVF? Should I pursue it, or are they going to do one of those things saying like, just give me your bank details and
yeah, and
give
then
me your
maybe they
card
scam.
details, and I'll transfer you the
I don't know.
money." Who
Has
knows?
anyone ever gone through with that? I mean, I've never had a sugar daddy
Have you
enter my
not?
DMs, sadly.
Oh. I mean,
But
it's quite niche wanting an IVF sugar babe. I mean, could you call me a sugar
yeah,
baby at this point? It's a bit weird.
a sugar daddy to fund your baby.
Imagine having a sugar daddy to fund your IVF. There's an IVF funding option, girls.
Yeah,
There must be some niche out there. There's a niche for everyone out there.
there really is. Oh, I
There's a
wish you
kink for
hadn't.
everyone.
I'd want to know. I kind of invested now. I want to know what happened.
Well, I got
I
scared because he
know.
found me from a different account. I was like, oh my God. Hey,
Oh,
baby, it's me, Daddy.
oh my
So, yeah,
God.
weird. But if
Yeah, that
anyone's had
is
any
weird.
experiences, would love to know. Anyway, what have you been up to this week?
So we've been pretty busy with work, like
Yeah.
Soul Fry's events, and actually I've been trying to think about what I eat during these events because obviously we sell chips, so fresh cut chips, and
Yeah.
if I have one of those chips, I will not stop. I will keep picking and keep picking, and most of our events are over a dinner time or a lunchtime, and so I've just been thinking of good ways to utilize the toppings from soul fries, but actually taking a base. And we found this amazing salad in Sainsbury's. It was like grains, slaw.
Oh.
It was really tasty. It had loads of different things in. It was a vegetarian salad, hummus. I was a bit like, oh, but we added the pulled chicken that we do on top of it.
Oh,
That was really good.
nice.
And that actually kept us full. Tony and I both had it. It kept us full for the whole time. And I didn't snack on any chips, which is really good. So, and the more events we do going forward, I'm going to have to think about our food and what we take. It's just about preparing meals basically for soul fries so that I don't eat chips all the time. But but you can make a really good salad from the toppings of our soul fries. So I just need a base basically, but I'm going to cycle through pasta, rice, all those different things. So I've
Yeah.
been figuring that out. It was also Nala, our dog's birthday yesterday.
Oh,
So
happy
she turned
birthday.
8. I can't believe we have an 8-year-old dog.
Do you ever
Which
think,
is
I think
just
this with the dogs sometimes, like what year did they be in at school? Like, and if they were actually human, what they'd be doing?
because if Nala and Reggie and Ronnie went to school, they'd all be in different years.
They would.
They would. But yeah, no, I just think she's getting old now, but she's still mental. And then we obviously spoiled her. So we took her to pets at home.
Oh,
She got so excited that she did a wee in the middle of the shop, which was quite embarrassing.
I mean, it happens. I think every dog wheeze in
Yeah,
there and then they all just wee on top of it. Ronnie did a poo in there once. It was
did
awful.
he?
Well, back
Oh,
before he was not disabled, yeah.
yeah. I think she just got too excited and she took her out again, took her outside, then she came back and she did another wee. I was like, I'm so
It's
sorry.
the
Like,
smells,
she's
yeah.
done it again. But she got too excited and we went in for a new collar and a couple of dog bowls, but then obviously got her like loads of different treats and everything. And we thought we're going to spoil her. Took her for a really nice sunny walk and then bought her a puppy ice cream whilst Tony and I ate our apples.
Nala is the
So-
epitome of those dogs you see on Instagram where it's like when you've got like a dual income mum and dad
Yeah.
with no kids.
Yeah.
And you're the apple of their eye.
We bought her a bowl that says a diva on it. Tony picked it out actually. So she is. She's much of a foodie as me and Tony. But yeah, so we spoiled her yesterday and that's about it really with our week. Oh, I've ordered some ovulation tests. You'll
Oh,
be
thank
proud.
God. I wonder when
So
you were
for
going to get on,
so for
get
next
to phone properly.
So for next month, I'll be peeing on those ovulation sticks.
Which
I
ones did you
guess.
get?
Oh God, don't tell me the brand. They're the ones from Amazon. So
Yeah, see, I've got them, and then I started kind of doubting myself when I saw someone else's ovulation strips on like a
oh,
TikTok, and I was thinking they look a lot clearer than the one.
do you think there are better
Oh,
ones?
do you
I
know?
thought they
But
were
then I
much the
think, well, I can tell on
same.
mine when it's dark, and then when it starts getting lighter. Do you know when you think,
Yeah.
do I really need that much detail? Like it goes darker, 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 lighter, lighter, and then you can kind of
Yeah.
work out when it was. So, but I
It would
was
just
thinking to
be
myself, do I need something a bit obvious for obviously because
yeah.
I need to take the medication? But then I just thought, nah, be all right.
Yeah. Well, I'm just interested to see if it lines up with my aura ring as well. So, because that does
Yeah,
predict your ovulation and like your periods, but it's very loose prediction. That goes on body temperature. So it'd be
yeah.
really good to link that up. So yeah. And
Right. Well, I
that's
look forward to that update now. You finally joined the fertility world.
they should be arriving today.
Good.
Shame I'm not ovulating, but I mean, next month.
Brilliant. We'll
But
eagerly
yeah.
await that update, Charlie. So, today we are going to talk about supporting your friends and family through IVF. This can be a shareable episode. We'll be honest, we were going to do this in a few weeks in line with
Mm.
National Fertility Week. However, it's been quite highly requested, and what the girlies want, the girlies get. So, we thought we'd bring it forward and talk about it today because there's been quite a lot of chat around it recently, hasn't there?
Mhm. Yeah, there was that podcast on BBC Woman's Hour,
Mm-hmm.
which we got sent actually by someone as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I did listen to it. That was talking a bit more about how to talk about infertility, but it did touch on
Mm.
a couple of things about how your friends and family can talk about it. There's a few things that resonated with me actually on there. But we've had quite a few people, haven't we, message us asking about it, about
Yeah.
if you're a friend or a family of someone going through IVF or fertility or trying to conceive,
Uh-huh.
and how to speak to your friend or what you can do
And
to
navigate
help.
it, I suppose,
Yeah,
together. So the aim of
yeah.
this is to obviously discuss it, but if you're going through it, and I suppose two things. One, you might just be someone listening to this who isn't going through it, but knows someone who is.
Mm,
If so, round of applause for being a good friend and listening. And if
yeah.
not, send it to them. If you don't know how to talk about it, send them this episode
Yeah.
and we'll tell them how
Yeah.
to talk about it, what to do and what not to do.
Mm. Yeah, because there are a few things, isn't there, that I'm sure I've experienced when I went through it, and then also other
Mm,
people, and
yeah. What did
I
you
think
think of that interview then?
I think it talked about pity, and I think that resonated with me quite a lot.
Mm,
Just yeah, I just don't want to be pitied.
no.
And I think they mentioned about the sad people giving you the sad eyes when you mention it.
Yes.
And that's something I just don't like. Like, I don't
Me neither.
think we just, and she said, you don't want pity, you want recognition. And I think that is quite an important point, because you just want to be recognized that you're going through it, and then people to
Mm,
offer help or offer just a listening ear, when you're going through it, not someone to be like, I'm so sorry, like, I'm so sorry you're
yeah.
going through that, because at the end of the day, it's not something to be pitied. What do
No,
you
it's
think?
not. I'm the same. I really struggle with pity, the pity side of
Mm,
things. And I think some of it comes from there are people going through other horrendous things every day. And infertility is awful. I'm not trying to say it's
mm,
not. We're obviously living
mhm,
it. But there's also people who are, losing family members or who might have cancer
mm.
and loads of other people die every day. I don't want to make it sound really morbid, but everyone's got something going on. It's
Yeah.
not, and if it's not infertility, it's something else. Like everyone has something going on.
Mm,
And I think where I'm so positive and will laugh about it, especially on here,
yeah.
we're not here to depress people. We're here to try and find the positives out of it. And people will say, "Oh, I know you put on such a brave face."
Mm.
Well, what do you want me to do? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just stop living my life. Like, there is more to life. And if we can't have children, what do you expect me to do? Give up? Like,
Mm,
what is I don't understand when people have that kind of thing of, oh, like, you don't have to put on such a brave face. Please tell me what the alternative is.
mm.
Should I take to my bed? I don't really
Take to my
I don't know. Like, everyone has got something going on.
Yeah,
Ours
100%.
is just one of those things. And, I'm we're not people who, you could make yourself a victim. You could make it,
Mm.
I mean, I was going to say, you could make it your entire personality. I think we probably
Yeah.
do. But there's a bigger world out there and there's life to it. And I just think, but again, just because I handle it like that, it doesn't mean the next person will. And if they want to take to their bed, that is absolutely on them. And they should be allowed to do that. And, I think, as
Yeah.
you say, you shouldn't be, none of us should ever be telling people how to feel or questioning the way they turn up, I'd
Yeah,
say.
exactly. Because everyone's so different as well, and everyone navigates things completely
Yeah.
differently. And what might be right for someone else may not be right for another person.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
there was an interesting point in that podcast where they said, which I got loads when I was going through it, and it was literally like, I know somebody who stopped trying, they got pregnant. I know somebody
Yeah.
who went on holiday, they got pregnant. I know somebody who drank turmeric lattes all the day, got
If only.
pregnant. I know somebody who hula hoops.
Yeah.
Do you know?
And
And
I do think there's a space for that sometimes because I like a
mm,
positive story. I really
I love a
felt in
positive
my
story.
third transfer that I've just had, the amount of people who were like, it happened on my third time happened. And that gave me a lot of hope until it just
Yeah.
work. And then you think, oh, fuck off with your third transfer. But there's room for it, definitely. But it's when
Mm.
people, and again, I do think it comes from people not knowing what to say.
I was just about to say it's something to fill that kind of silence, isn't it? And actually maybe
Yeah.
that's better sometimes, filling that silence, than saying nothing at all. I don't know. Like it
And
lands
maybe
differently
that's
with
where,
different people.
as people going through it, we need to give the direction on that
Yeah.
as to how
And
we would like to
boundaries.
be spoken,
Mm.
how we'd like to be spoken
Yeah.
to, but how we would like to be spoken to. And,
Yeah.
say I am going through. I remember we hadn't really told many people we were trying for a baby. I was very open about it if people
Mm.
said, but again, should I have had to be? Why are we asking people
Mm.
when are you trying for a baby? I think we're in 2026. Why are we asking women that? I mean, this wasn't in
Mm.
2026. This was back in probably about 2020, but that's a whole big issue in itself. Why are
Yeah.
people
Well,
even saying, "Oh, you're going to try for a baby"? Did you get that after you got
yeah.
married?
I was gonna say, like, I think that's a complete societal thing, isn't it? You get
Yeah.
married, you get married, or you buy a house. Next
Mm.
step naturally is, are you going to have children? I literally got it the other week when I was getting my nails done from a nail guy, and I just didn't really know how to answer it because I just really didn't want to go into like the whole
The
depth of
nail
this
guy.
random. Yeah, he said, "Do you have children?" And I said, "No, just my dog." Thought that was going to be the end of the conversation, and then he went, "Oh, are you going to have children?" And I was just like, "Oh, I can't be asking into the." Normally, I'm fine. Depends who asks
Yeah.
me, but I was just like, "Oh, maybe." Stop stop that conversation. Then I asked him something else to try and steer the conversation. Actually, I think I said, "Do you have children?" Straight back
Yeah.
at him. But
Well, not many
why?
people are asking men this question. It always gets aimed at women. I think it's probably
Yeah.
worse if you've just got married. I will be honest, my conversations tend to still be, why aren't you
Okay.
married yet?
Yeah.
But then again, why aren't we married yet? Well, because we've been doing fucking IVF for
Yeah.
years. That's why,
Y-
hun. I
Exactly.
just, but then you
And we
can't,
got we got married because IVF didn't work for us, and we thought we just want to focus our attention on something
yeah.
that we could control and enjoy, and then we'll go back to IVF, and think about that.
Mm,
So it's different. People's priorities different,
yeah.
but yeah, I still get asked all the time about
I just
children.
think I think the people asking are people who probably never had any issues.
Yeah.
Anyone who's ever had a miscarriage or any fertility struggles or,
Mm.
anything, or has a bit of, a cultural awareness,
Awareness. Yeah.
wouldn't ask someone, "Oh, are you going to have kids or do you want kids?" Because, what about, single women? They
Yeah.
might be feeling pressured as it is. They might be they might be going through egg freezing at the minute and you're going,
Mhm.
"Oh, you need to find a man to settle down
Oh,
with."
your
Like, it's
eggs
so
now, yeah.
unhelpful.
Yeah.
And I just think, that's a whole issue in itself. But then, you know, I think so we'd probably only had conversations around a few people, when I'd sometimes maybe say something like, "Oh, I just want to get pregnant. I'd love a baby." If
Mm.
I'd opened the conversation. But then when it actually came to, I remember telling my mum and dad we were going to need to do IVF, and that was really
Mm.
weird.
Yeah, I found
I
that.
mean, having that conversation with parents in the first place is weird because I'm like, oh, you know what?
Yeah. And
You
and
know,
then
we've
they
been
say
trying for a baby.
some random comments and you're like, "Why has that come out of your mouth?" You're like, "Oh, you're my mum and dad."
Weird. And I remember having that thing saying, I think we're going to have to do IVF. And they didn't even know that I mean, I'm sure they assumed we'd probably been
Yeah.
trying, but it was just a bit awkward. And then I think that's
Yeah.
what sometimes when you have those conversations, then it opens up that, well, have you tried just relaxing? Have you tried? Because I think
Mm,
people want to, it's natural, it's human nature. We want to solutionize. I'm the biggest solutionizer. I really struggle when people come to me with a problem, not to want to offer them
advice and
solutions. Like, it's
help.
just my
Yeah.
personality. Like, I don't really, and I think again, that comes from not knowing what to say to someone. I'll be like, well,
Yeah.
here's my opinion. And it's just knowing, I think, sometimes when that can be a little bit unhelpful.
Yes, because there are times when there's some advice given and you're just like, "That was probably more worse than saying nothing." Or
Yeah.
yeah, and actually having gone through IVF, I think I kind of realized actually the best thing to do is just to say that you're here for them if they
Mm.
need, and let me know what you need me to do. So, but I didn't really do that before. Before I'm the same, I'd be like, "Oh, how can I help? This is what do giving advice and stuff." And then probably things that I've never gone
Yeah.
through, given advice before. So, yeah.
I think there was a few things. There was a few of our friends that were really
Mm,
good and came to me and said, I know you're going through this. I don't really understand it, but I'm here if you need me. And that was
mm.
enough. There were some people who were kind of, I don't really understand this. Can you tell me all about it? And I'm like,
Yeah,
I've got enough on the plate at the minute.
explain
But
it.
again, it's so difficult because that is, you don't want to be ungrateful for someone showing
No.
an interest, but
Uh,
also go and give it a fucking Google.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
go
that's true.
Google it.
And well, yeah, you can find anything out on the internet these days. Ask ChatGPT, like
Yeah. And
there's
just I think
all.
as an overview, if anyone is listening to this who might not
Mm,
necessarily be going through fertility treatment, trying to conceive is trying to conceive.
mm,
They'll be having a lot of sex. That's
yeah.
basically where we're at. If they are in a position of going through fertility treatment, whether they're freezing their eggs, whether, someone's going through IVF, the process for that will probably be a few months of appointments, back and forward scans. We've talked about that before, the introduction
Mm,
to dildo cam, like they'll be having quite invasive procedures. The actual IVF process itself is quite short. You're only injecting for just, about 2 weeks on average. They might
mm,
have down-regulated and take pills. They might be on, artificial hormones for a while before that, like birth control. So again, might not be feeling 100%. The stims medications, again, we know it affects your hormones, might not be feeling great, can feel really tired, can feel really sicky for those 2 weeks. They're going to
mm,
feel really bloated. They're then going to be having, a surgical procedure to remove those eggs from their body, whether they're freezing it or carrying on. And then, they'll be having more artificial meds to prepare their body to have any embryos they've got transferred back into them. They've also got the psychological waiting time
yeah.
of, am I going to grow enough follicles to get eggs from? Are these eggs going to develop into embryos, and are these embryos going to make it to the right quality to be able to be frozen or transferred back inside
Mm,
me? And that, I think, is probably the hardest part mentally to deal with, and why you know probably people don't share it as much because it's a lot. It's really heavy.
yeah. It's a lot to go through
It's a lot of
because
hope.
yeah, and obviously you went through this and the first couple of times and you didn't tell anyone you were going through it either.
And so I have to be honest, comparing when I did it the first time and then not telling people
Mm.
and then telling people the second time, there was definitely some benefits in not saying anything because no one
Yeah.
asks and you just
Yeah.
kind of get on with it. And as I said, as someone who doesn't like pity,
Mm.
I kind of felt like at least it was kind of almost I could compartmentalize my life and
Yeah.
get on with it without anyone knowing about it, or I don't know. But then when it didn't work, I was a bit like, is anyone here for
Oh.
me? Whereas this
Yeah.
time around when it didn't work, oh my God, like the support I had was just, people
Yeah.
checking in on me every day. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And again, I have to say, most of our friends, I think, are very like on it, and and we have very
Mm.
good relationships with them to the point where we can be honest with them and they can be honest with us and say, I don't know anything about it, or,
Yeah.
let me know how I can help, or, or just even just a message like thinking of you, hope it goes
Mm.
okay. It's especially when you're in a foreign country and you've got people checking in on you. I did actually quite like that. Like,
Yeah.
Because you feel a little bit like, ooh, I don't know what's
Because
going on. And then you have
I think
people
you
just
need that
messaging.
more than you realise, really. I think that helps, doesn't it? And even if, and you don't
Yeah.
have to talk about it, you don't have to share.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm completely different. Like this time round, I was planning on not telling anyone, and now we're doing a podcast. So, but actually, like, I think it's good. I think it's good to talk about it and raise awareness. And then I can still, if I don't want to talk about it with people, I don't have to. They can listen to the podcast and then follow from there. But I think I struggle to keep it in anyway. I think and if people ask, I'm more than happy to talk about it. I won't go into a conversation and to random people and be like, I'm doing IVF or that. But if people
Oh
ask
God, I
about
do
it,
now though. I've become that person.
listen, I do IVF. Listen to our podcast.
Do you think when you did IVF, I remember not really knowing much about it then, and I didn't really know what was going on or how to support you. And it went. Remember just thinking that went quick. I found
Yeah,
your
but
process just go so fast,
it went
and
really quick. But do you remember you sent me a really nice package?
I did.
Yeah, this is pineapple things.
No,
And
didn't I send you a package when it failed? But I sent you like a hen do
maybe.
package because then you were like, "Oh, we're going to move on with the
Oh
wedding." So I got you like
yes,
bridal pajamas and
yeah,
things to cheer
yeah,
you up.
yes. That was really good
I was going to say, I
actually.
don't think I wouldn't have known about
I think maybe Tony got me
pineapples.
the package. I know. I
Yeah,
just
I
remember
think.
there was a pineapple ice pack which Tony now uses for his
Yeah, I didn't get you that.
freezing of the
No,
balls.
that wasn't me.
Maybe that was Tony.
Do you know, I had a few questions about pineapple. For anyone who doesn't know, pineapples are like a kind of international fertility sign. And it's not to be confused with an upside down pineapple, which is the one for swingers. Also, do you remember, we haven't actually, when we were talking about weird things we've done, do you remember I brought a pineapple and then I gave you an
Yes,
Oscar? How
I
is
still
that
have.
doing? Because my mum's
It's it,
died.
I think it's still alive. It's in our
Mine's
office
thriving.
by the window. Yeah, I mean it hasn't grown, but it hasn't died. So,
No, well, mine died and then it grew a new fresh green shoot,
yeah.
which I obviously also took as a sign for a positive embryo transfer.
Oh yeah. Oh, maybe I should bring it down here actually and nurture it a bit more.
It needs sun.
Yeah, oh no, it's in the sunniest place in the house
Oh,
at the
there you'll be
moment.
all right then.
Yeah.
Depending
Hopefully that
gardener's
grows.
world. So one thing we put on the socials at the weekend was to get your stories of advice you've been given. So the first question box we put up was, what unsolicited and unhelpful advice have you been given when trying to conceive or going through IVF? Some of these answers. 1, try to have sex in a different position.
Okay.
That's going to make all the difference, isn't it? You know? Just go down the donor route before they'd even explored what was wrong. Like, imagine that's such a big deal having to decide that,
Yeah.
you're going to be creating a baby that's not genetically one of yours or either of yours.
And just
You
like it's
can't
that
just say things like
easy
that. No.
as well. It's
So
not.
again, I think put yourself in the position of someone who is going through that. You would want. I always think if you wouldn't like to hear that yourself, don't say it to someone else.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Just relax. You're putting too much stress on this. I've been told that.
So have I. And that's a big one, isn't it, in the infertility community?
Yeah.
It's a bit of an ongoing joke, isn't it? Just relax.
That we'll be okay if this doesn't work. Well, who are you to tell me?
Yeah.
I'll decide that. Just stick your legs in the air after sex. It worked for us. We've heard that before, that little old wives' tale.
Yeah.
Just stop trying and it'll happen.
Oh yeah, I had that.
You guys, we've done that. It does not.
Yeah. And
it does for
also,
some people though.
can I just touch on that? Like, I think you can say stop trying, but then it's always going to be in the back of your mind. I always thought, oh, maybe we'll stop trying this month, but like
what does that mean? Stop having sex?
Yeah, exactly. And then you're definitely
protection.
Definitely, exactly.
Don't think about it. And they put in things like, what the fuck? Like, just don't think about it. Just think about something else. Don't worry about your life's plans. You just worry about, the food shop.
Yeah.
Another, just relax. Another one, have you considered adoption after the first cycle ended in a miscarriage?
Oh.
Like, again, do you know, I do think when it comes to adoption as well, I think there can be quite a lot of unhelpful comments. I saw something on TikTok over the weekend. It is not the responsibility of infertile couples to adopt children. Okay. I just feel like that needs to be said. Just because someone can't have a child, it doesn't mean that's the answer. If you're just, that's like me saying, oh, sorry, you're going in for a third child. Why don't you adopt? Don't have a third child naturally. Go and adopt. You just wouldn't hear someone say that. So why do people feel the need to say it to someone who's struggling with fertility issues? It's not okay. And, adoption has a place. Adoption, I'm sure there's plenty of families who do have biological children who adopt. There's plenty of families who don't who adopt.
Yeah.
It is not the answer for someone going through fertility struggles. And I think people need to stop promoting it like it is.
I had that when I was going through it. I think there's so many children in the world without parents. Why don't you adopt? And it's
Well,
like,
why don't you adopt?
I wouldn't rule out adoption in the future, maybe, but also it's also quite hard to adopt as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it really is.
It's not like it's not. Yeah, it's a biggie.
Yeah, it's a huge decision, and it's a lot. It's it's even harder than going through a fertility journey, I'd say, because of the amount of legalities and
checks
that you'd have to go through, which is wild when you think you could just anyone can just go out and have sex and have a baby.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely crazy. But I just think for me, adoption is a separate issue to fertility, and it's not helpful to suggest it as a solution. And apparently someone had eBay diet pills. I mean, don't tell me that, guys. I'll be straight onto eBay to buy them. So.
Ordered on eBay
Send me the
already.
links. But then we did have some other ones, didn't we, Charlie?
Yeah, Charlotte. So we had tips for family and friends of how to support someone through IVF. So again, these were people that wrote into us. So don't give advice if you haven't used that advice yourself.
Wise.
Yeah, I think that's really wise, actually. My friend sent me a care package and flowers randomly, and that meant so much. That was like you with your care package that you sent me. Do you remember that care package that I sent you when you had your appendix out?
Yes. Oh my God. I still use quite a lot of things from that, to be fair. And then you gave the dog, because we just got Reggie as well.
Yeah.
So you've always liked Reggie. You've always had a soft spot for him. You got a care package for being new to the family.
He did. I do. Reggie's, I love Reg. He's great. And I love Ron too. Right. Don't ask for updates whilst they're going through stims or TWW. So 2-week wait.
I think that's an important one, because this is like when people go into labour and they're about to have their baby, and they're like, please stop asking when my baby's coming. Like, I'm going through it right now. I think, and again, that's maybe a boundary to establish of, I'll update you. Like, but then like, people want to show their care, and I do get it.
Yeah, but I didn't really realise this. I remember we've had a few friends that have had children, and I'm pretty sure the first friend, I was like, oh, have you had your baby yet? Have you had your baby yet? I was that annoying person. And then until someone told me, actually, it's not wise to keep asking for updates, I was like, oh, yeah. Obviously, I'm excited. I want to know. But then I haven't gone through that myself, and I didn't realise that actually it can be quite, annoying. So after that, or everyone else, I stopped asking, just waiting until I was told. But yeah, it's things you don't know until people actually tell you, isn't it?
And this is the point of this episode. Like, we're not here to, make anyone feel rubbish. It is just a case of just thinking about things from maybe a slightly different perspective from people who've been through it.
Yeah. Okay, let them know you are thinking of them, but don't ask questions for them to educate you.
Okay, that goes back to Google again, doesn't it? I didn't write that, I promise. Someone shares my opinion.
It's good though. It's good to know that there are other people with similar opinions as well. Make less of an issue with alcohol being the only way that events and meetups are going to be fun. Yeah. This is something kind of also that we touched on last week, isn't it? About shaming people. Because actually I've gone to many things now where I haven't drank, and I've actually had really good fun. And it shouldn't be like, why not drinking? Like, you can only have fun when you're drinking. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get that. That's quite cool. Especially because it can be quite sensitive as well. You don't want to be like, why not drinking? Understand that sometimes we will have to say no to events, but don't stop inviting us to things.
That's a big one, I think, isn't it? Because it's like, I might not be able to come, but I still want to be invited.
Yes.
It's like what you said at the beginning about being, what was it, being seen? Or being
recognised.
Recognised, yeah. Like, not just being like, well, they're doing IVF, let's bin them
let's
off.
not invite them. Yeah. And I think your true friends will still invite you, and they'll understand the most when you say, sorry, I can't go. It comes back to
who wants to be
people
invited to
pleasing.
anything these days, though? Oh, I'm just like, not be asked.
I'm definitely that person that gets really excited at the invite, and then it gets to it, and I'm like, oh.
I have JOMO. What's it? Joy of missing out.
Yeah, I have that a lot. Which is crazy because I never used to be like that. Before, I'd be like, I have to go to every single thing.
You did. You used to be the queen of FOMO.
Yeah, and now I'm the complete opposite, which is crazy. Don't be afraid to ask how it's going and not have an answer. Just listen. I think I said
need
that
to take
earlier,
that advice
actually.
sometimes.
No, I think you're good.
Yeah, but I like to. My go-to is to solutionize. I just have to say it.
Yeah, but it's good. You're a problem solver.
I know, but not everyone wants me to solve their problems. Just shut up.
Listen, empathize, offer to go with an appointment. Don't try and offer advice. Just listen. What do you need? So that's kind
so
of
Charlie's offered to come with me to my doctor's appointment in a few weeks.
I have actually.
She's desperate to come. We're together in a few weeks' time, and I said to Charlie, I'm just going to need to nip out to the hospital for this appointment. She was like, oh, shall I come?
Do you need me there? Do you need me to come?
She wants to come for pod. She'll be there with the microphone turning up. Pod content.
Some behind the scenes with the phone, like get you walking in. Here she is walking into the doctor's.
I'm like, hello, I'm Portia. This is my friend Charly.
my support squad.
This is my emotional support squad.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you if you need.
I would have quite enjoyed, though, just being honest, if you'd lived nearer to me when I was doing my UK run, and when Steve was going to work and things, it would have been quite fun to be like, oh, Charlie, do you want to come to this appointment with me? Like an hour in the car, like we could have got a Starbucks. Like I think there's value in offering to go to an appointment, especially if there's any they have to go to by themselves.
Yeah,
but anyone wants me to go to any appointments with them, let me know.
Yeah, same. And also you can offer, and they can say no as well. I mean, I almost came to Turkey with you, didn't I?
I would have loved that. I will say, if I have to go back for another transfer in Turkey, I think you might have to come, because I think it'd be
brilliant. I will be there. Support squad ready.
Then I wouldn't have to worry about the dogs, because Steve can stay at home with them, go shopping, get some nice food.
Oh, it'll be lovely.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's hope we don't get to that point. But
no, but
I'm there.
We're here to romanticize the journey, guys.
Exactly. Listen, empathize. Oh, I've just said that one. Explain to them how you would like to approach the subject rather than second guessing. So that goes back to like boundaries, doesn't it? And setting boundaries and just saying. And actually, I think that's probably being honest, and probably one of the most important things you can do with your friends, so that they are aware of how they can navigate it around you. So that's really lovely that we've had listeners writing in and people DMing on Instagram. So thank you so much for that.
So, Charlie, what have you got for us for Between the Lines this week?
Well, because we have been talking about people giving advice, and one of the main things of advice that people give is just relax, reduce your stress. I thought I would actually talk about or give some tips on ways to actually help reduce stress and help relax. And hopefully that might help some people as well. So the first tip I'd like to give is a big one for me, is move your body, which obviously I'm a big advocate for. And even it's just like getting out for a walk, seeing some sunlight, doing some yoga, some Pilates, getting up and down more. You're going to have good endorphins. It's going to help with stress levels. I know that if I don't do some kind of exercise a couple of times a week, a few times a week, I will get irritable. And then as soon as I've done that exercise, I feel a million times better. Even if I've got a load of stuff on, I will carve out some time in the day to make sure I can fit in some kind of movement, be it a dog walk, go to the gym, go to a gym class, and feel much better. So that would be my tip number one. Tip number two would be to lower and minimize your stress if you can. So you don't want to overload your schedule. It is okay to say no to some things. You don't have to be a massive people pleaser. Just if you feel like you can't fit it in, just say no. And that will help as well. So, and tip number three would be try and carve out some time in the day for some relaxation techniques. You can do some breathing techniques, easily find that on YouTube. Try and do some yoga. You can also, one good thing that I've actually started doing is not looking at my phone straight away as soon as I wake up. So I'll give myself about 30 minutes before I wake up, because a lot of the time you have, I don't know about you, I get loads of notifications on my phone and get the news notifications as well. And like, as soon as you go into that, that's like your brain working. So it's quite nice to like ease in a bit into the day and go on dog walks or go on a walk without your phone as well. Try not to look at your phone too much,
Safety
because that's,
first, though.
yeah, it's a natural stressor, isn't it? Your phone, it can cause a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Things like yoga as well. And I don't know if have you ever tried yoga nidra? It's like
No.
this amazing restorative. Tony's mum is a yoga instructor, and
Oh.
she introduced us to this when we were in New Zealand. I love it because it's basically like sleep yoga. So
Oh.
you're literally lying in different positions, and it brings your like body down to a state of complete relaxation. I think it's a meditation technique. So if you can, you only need to do that for about 15 minutes, I think, and you can find loads of those kind of things on YouTube again as well.
Mm.
So that's a good one. And then another tip would be, I mean, get things out of your head. So, and what I'm saying by that is journaling, getting things written down. I have a really good, oh, it's a weekly planner. So every Monday, I sit in my office and I go through things that I've got to do throughout the week. And then there's like an urgent list side as well. And I just tick them off as I go, and then also add more things. That I find that really helps as well to reduce everything that's in my brain, all that stress and
Uh-huh.
everything. And I've also got a big wall planner in the office, which has all of our Soul Fries events. I like to see
Yeah.
everything like in one big thing. So just journaling, writing stuff down, lists, really helpful. And then finally, to try not to neglect the basics. So good recovery, good sleep, good fueling. Because if your body is underfueled, you haven't slept enough, you haven't recovered properly, stress is going to feel a lot worse.
Uh,
So yes, they would be my tips to help reduce stress. Hopefully that helps some people.
I need to take on some of those myself. Definitely. Not from like a
It's
stress perspective, it's just it's
mm,
overwhelming. Like, might not necessarily feel stress, it's just all the tabs open, isn't it? It's
yeah,
shutting down some tabs.
exactly, and it's trying to like compartmentalize some
Yeah.
things if you can. I was the other day, I think I had so much going on, and I was like, I just need to just stop and go and take myself away from the situation. I went to the gym. I put my phone on do not disturb, and I didn't even do that long in the gym. I did 30 minutes, and it immediately made me feel so much better.
Mm,
And I came back and I could tackle a few more things. So
yeah.
yeah, hopefully that helps some
Lovely
listeners.
tips. Thank you.
Cool.
Do you want to read the dilemma?
Yes. Okay. So this is quite on point actually with what we've been talking about today. Hey girls, when I first told my friends about my fertility struggle, they were really supportive and checked in a lot. But now it feels like no one mentions it anymore, almost like I've been forgotten or people are avoiding the topic. I don't know if they think they're giving me space, but it actually makes me feel a bit invisible. Like what I'm going through doesn't matter anymore. How do you deal with that?
Okay, this might sound a bit brutal, but it goes
Mhm.
back to what I said earlier. Everyone's got their own stuff going on.
Mhm.
You're not the center of their concerns, presumably.
Mm.
However, what I will say is get yourself on TikTok, because the fertility girls over there are incredible. And you will never find more supportive people than the IVF or TTC community, like hands down.
Yeah.
Incredible. So find your support elsewhere, because people do have other stuff going on, and it's not nice to feel that way, but find the people who do
Yeah.
care.
And even on TikTok, there's loads of different forums, isn't there? And
Mm,
spaces, Facebook. Find maybe a local community close by as well. And then
mm.
they'll completely understand what you're going through. So,
And talk to your
mm,
friends and say,
yeah.
tell them how you're feeling, but it goes back to again what we said earlier, they probably don't know how
Yeah.
to address it, and you might need to take the lead with that.
Yeah.
But I
And
don't think
setting
anyone's
boundaries.
doing anything, on purpose. And sometimes you can find your tribe elsewhere.
Yeah. That's really good advice, actually.
But don't like
So
disregard your friends.
no, I think the main thing is to like talk to them and
Yeah.
tell them how you're feeling, but also just boundaries.
What you
Boundaries is
need.
a really important one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So, Portia, you'd like to close the page this week. So, what would you like to close the page on?
So I was on TikTok at the weekend and I saw this post from this girl who I don't think has shared much content before around kind of fertility or anything. And it was a very innocent post in the sense that she was just doing a TikTok of, I can't believe that after I think she was about 34, after 2 years of trying to conceive, they've told me that I need to see an endocrinologist and the NHS waiting time means I'm not going to see an endocrinologist till 2027.
Hmm.
That's all she said. The
Okay.
comments on this post, I actually wrote a few down.
Yeah.
Sorry you can't have a child, but that's not a medical problem the NHS have to solve. NHS doesn't have unlimited resources. Not the NHS's fault. Entitlement and expectations are more of an issue. Try harder or live better. Why is it the responsibility of the NHS for you to have a baby? If you want it that badly, go private. Now, most of these women looked
That,
like they were mums who were leaving these comments on this woman's post who wasn't asking for anything. As I said, it was it was just saying, this is just really disappointing.
yeah.
And I just thought to myself, in what world? Everyone is entitled to an opinion.
Hmm.
If your opinion is not kind or supportive, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You would never in a million years go and say to someone saying, oh, I need this surgery, and go, you're overweight. You don't deserve that surgery. Why should you go private? So one of the other girls had then done a TikTok on this with the comment saying, I can't believe, this is how women show up when other women are vulnerable.
Hmm.
And then all the trolls moved to her video.
Oh,
Bang, 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 bang. Honestly, and you just think, no one's entitled, but the budget for NHS funded IVF is something like 0.05% of the total NHS budget.
yeah.
And there was a comment left on this video from someone that basically said the NHS are spending more on like postage than they are
Oh,
IVF,
stamps.
on like stamps, basically. Yeah. Like what? I just think to myself, I mean, I'm not someone who has ever benefited from NHS funded IVF, but I will
Mm.
support the girls that
Yeah.
are entitled to it because I just think. And she hadn't even said anything about it. It was just saying how disappointing it was. But also, if she is being referred to an endocrinologist, there's obviously other health issues. And it
Mm.
is a really sad state of affairs that we are now having to wait, a minimum of 9 months to be seen.
Yeah.
It's wild. And it is, and the answer isn't to go private all the time. People can't afford it. Why
Mm.
should she have to when other people get treatment? And I do think this also, you can fall into a rabbit hole of this, but also we all pay taxes
Mm.
and what does tax money goes all over the place to all different things. One of those being statutory maternity pay. So if I'm paying for your maternity leave, why shouldn't
Yeah.
I be allowed some NHS funded IVF? It goes round in circles,
Yeah. I also
and
just
I just
can't
thought it was really
believe.
unhelpful.
Yeah, I just can't believe some of the comments
It's
from
just
other
really
women.
disappointing from women to use an
Yeah.
opportunity like that. As I said, it wasn't even a rage baity post. It was
Mm.
just a woman sharing some vulnerabilities of just how disappointed she's found that this is the next steps and how long she's going
Yeah.
to have to wait. And yet she's 34. I get it. We
Yeah.
have this clock that, we're told starts ticking.
Yeah.
I,
I,
I, I honestly was speechless. And I just think, do better. We've
mm,
got enough problems in this world without women tearing other women down. And if you have nothing nice to say, just
don't
keep it to
say.
yourself.
You need to be supportive. Women should support other women,
What
not
did they
bring them
think that was
down.
going to get, though? What was it?
Yeah.
Try harder or live better. Thanks, Karen. I'll do just that. I'm going to go and try hard. Try harder with what?
Well, I just can't believe those women or those
I
comments are
was
just
honestly disgusted.
mind-boggling. Yeah.
And yeah, I just think I would like to close the page on
Good.
women ripping other
That's
women down. Do better.
well. Then, on the other side of the coin, should we do our positive affirmation?
Yes. Well, then on the back of that, I thought, what kind of positive affirmation do we
Mm.
need? And I thought it would be behind every smile is a story. Lead with kindness. So
Oh.
everyone, and this doesn't just apply to fertility, as we said, everyone's got
Mm.
something going on. So behind
Yeah.
every smile is a story. Lead with kindness. You never know what anyone's going through.
I always try and live by that as well. I think you don't know what people are going through on a day-to-day basis. And if you're just kind, that's like one good thing that you're doing. You're being kind to that person. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. You don't know what people are going through. And that little bit of kindness for them could go a long way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a lovely positive affirmation to finish with.
Fabulous. Don't forget, guys, to follow, like, subscribe, share this podcast. We really appreciate all the shares so we can find the people who need it. YouTube, I'm not sure if like what our demographic is with YouTube. Do women of our age watch YouTube? I actually do. But if you do watch YouTube, go watch us. I know it's not as visually appealing at the minute because we're not together, but we will be in a few weeks.
We will be. I like having a YouTube podcast on at the gym if I'm doing something boring on a boring treadmill or a boring bike. It's great. It really fills the hour, so you can have something to look at and also listen to, but you don't have to really concentrate so much on watching it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I do actually quite like a
The
YouTube
TikTok
podcast.
girlies seem to like YouTube.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
But yes, do keep watching and subscribing. It really helps us out.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.